Hello and welcome to News 24. We are talking about the story on everyone's lips this morning, the possible resignation of President Jacob Zuma after the ANC-NEC decided to recall him at their meeting last night. Joining me this morning is News 24 editor Adrian Basson. Adrian, it was a long night in Irene. No official confirmation yet, but it seems that the ANC did decide to recall President Jacob Zuma.
Yes, Alet, we didn't have a lot of sleep and quite an historic day, quite an historic moment. After 13 hours of meeting, the ANC had decided to recall Zuma as president of South Africa. What we know so far is that the ANC-NEC yesterday met for a very long time, from about 2 o'clock in the afternoon in St. George Hotel outside Pretoria. During that meeting, a lot of debate about what should happen to Zuma, and apparently at that briefing, or at that NEC meeting, Deputy President Cyril Ramaphosa briefed the NEC. What we know is that he told them, apparently Zuma insisted on a 3-month resignation period, so a 3-month notice period almost. We wanted to hand over the running of government to Cyril Ramaphosa. This was rejected by the ANC after some debate. And very late last night, the ANC then mandated Ramaphosa and Ace Magashule, the Secretary General of the ANC, to go and inform Zuma that they are going to recall him, but still giving him the option to resign. So even at that very final, very late stage, after a week, more than a week now of Zuma refusing to go, the ANC still tried to convince the old man to, of his own volition, resign. Ramaphosa really wanted that. Apparently Zuma told him, no, I'm not resigning, I'm not going, send me a letter that you are recalling me and I will respond publicly. And that is now what we're waiting for today. We also know that the ANC is briefing the country at 2 about the NEC's decisions. So yeah, on tenterhooks again today.
Well, as you said, it was a marathon meeting of nearly 13 hours with some breaks in between. We know that the NEC doesn't vote on when it comes to important decisions like these. They deliberate until they reach a consensus. Should we take this very long meeting as an indication that Zuma still has strong support in the NEC?
You know, Alet, it's very difficult for us to speculate. Obviously, the media is not allowed at these meetings. The ANC has not even briefed us, the ANC's spokespeople, about what happened in the meeting. So we are completely dependent on sources who attended that meeting. Also, during that meeting, the ANC-NEC members, their cell phones are taken away from them. It's kept in little brown envelopes outside during the meeting. So it was really afterwards only that we could get in touch with our sources who gave us their version of what had happened. What we know is that there was a lot of discussion around Zuma's recall and how it should happen. So there were still Zuma supporters saying, but you know, why is there a rush to recall him? Isn't there another way to do this? But from what we understand, the overwhelming view was that Zuma is really now resisting the call of the ANC, resisting the will of the people, and that the ANC had to act. There's also a tradition in the ANC, as you said correctly, of people talking to reach some sort of consensus. So I don't think it necessarily means there was a large pushback. I think a lot of people just got the chance or wanted the chance to talk. Remember, the NEC consists of around 105 people. If all of them wanted to talk, you know, that explains the 13 hours.
Yes.
And we know that very late last night, Ramaphosa and Magashule left the complex where the meeting was, went to Zuma for about half an hour to 40 minutes and came back to brief the NEC for about another 2 hours.
So, well then, as you said, they went to him and again asked him to resign. Again, he refused. It does seem like whatever deal they were trying to reach with him seemed to fall through. So, after all of that, what motivation does he now have after being recalled to actually resign?
Zuma is really testing the patience of the ANC, Alet. There's no other way to view this. I honestly don't understand what he's trying to do. He's digging in his heels at the final moment, you know, as he's busy leaving the stage. You know, he's obviously got vested interest. He's on top of a, let's call it a protection racket of people who will be exposed the moment he's out of office. We know that there's always been these very strong rumors of Zuma promising a nuclear deal to Russia, to President Vladimir Putin. Could it be all of these things in his mind at the same time that says, I must just show Putin at least and my supporters like that I want to stick it in? He's really testing the ANC's patience. The only option left for the party now is to move for a motion of no confidence in Parliament if Zuma, if Zuma decides not to resign of his own. We know last night when Ramaphosa sat with him, he refused to resign. He's now asked for a letter from the ANC, almost like a letter of a firing letter that you would get from your employer, to say, look, you've been recalled, and he will now respond publicly. So we must also look out for that public announcement today. What will it be? I think the country, and I think at the back of our minds, we all hope that it's a very a graceful type, short resignation letter like Thabo Mbeki did in 2008 when he told the country he's been recalled by the ANC and he now steps down. But Zuma has always said that he's got these stories to tell, there's things he hasn't revealed, he's got files on people. Will this be the day that he reveals that? We don't know.
Well, let's just quickly talk again about then what the ANC's options would be going forward if he refuses to resign. You mentioned the motion of no confidence that the opposition is bringing. They've asked for that to be brought forward to this week, to today, tomorrow. Of course, the ANC could still bring their own motion of no confidence, but is President Zuma perhaps bargaining on the fact that he still has support in the ANC caucus and that a motion like that won't be successful?
Alet, I think important to first clarify again that the ANC recalling Zuma, as has now happened, does not mean he automatically goes as state president or as head of state. That's just the ANC recalling a deployee, but it's still up to him to resign. The ANC has no say over the affairs of the state. The ANC cannot tell their state to release Zuma. So it's still up to Zuma to resign. So he's got two options. He can either resign or not. So if he resigns today, later today, there will be an acting president, which will be Cyril Ramaphosa, the deputy president, who will then be sworn in by parliament in the next few days and will take over the affairs of the country as well. If Zuma decides not to resign, the ANC doesn't have a lot of options. The only way then to remove him is through Parliament. You'll remember that Parliament elects the president. Zuma was an MP before he became president, so Parliament elects a president from its members, and Parliament will also then have to vote on a motion of no confidence or impeach the president. There's two mechanisms available to MPs to do that. I can't see the ANC wanting for Zuma to be recalled through Parliament on a ticket of the opposition party. I think the chances are much more likely that we will see an ANC-sponsored vote of no confidence if indeed Zuma digs in his heels today and refuses to go.
Well, we know that they've given him a day or 2 to 10 days resignation. We've just heard that the media briefing has been moved to 2 o'clock this afternoon from initially being scheduled to 12 o'clock. So a lot could still happen today. There's still a small window of opportunity for President Jacob Zuma to make a move.
Well, he's been buying time since last Sunday evening when the top 6 went to him and asked him to step down. He's been buying time, telling Cyril Ramaphosa he'll resign if. And now the if has changed. The reasons on the conditions of leaving has changed, it seems, over the past few days. So that will be a very pivotal question this afternoon to the ANC. Until when do they wait for Zuma to react to their letter of recall before they do something, before they act and go to Parliament and ask Speaker Baleka Mbete for a date to table a motion of no confidence sponsored by the ANC? That will be a very key thing to listen out this afternoon. How long are they going to wait for Zuma before they make their move? It's a game of chess here between Ramaphosa and the ANC and Zuma. And at the moment, Zuma has the ball in his quarter again. He's now getting a letter from the ANC saying, we've recalled you, we've fired you, and it's now his call to make what he's going to do next.
Well, we will be staying with the story all day, and we will be bringing you live updates. Make sure to follow us on News 24.